Hey there, folks. Jared Ulrich, the yard sale artist, here calling to you from the Longbox Crusade Studios with another special video for our Crusaders Club members. We appreciate each and every one of you that go over to patreon.com and support us. And we put your support to good use. Most of it goes back into mailing packages and giveaways and getting stuff for you guys for those things. But occasionally we get technology upgrades like our microphone systems and things like that. So we really appreciate you guys making it easy for us to keep our shows on the air. And as a thanks, it's time for another I Finished It. A few hours ago, I finished, for the second time in my life, Tomb Raider on PlayStation 1. Great game. I remember it fondly. It came out in 1996. I probably got my game probably in 1997. Not this copy. This copy is part of a collector's pack. But I had the original version back in 97. Was when I first played it. And I can definitely remember that being, like before the internet was a big thing. So I can remember times where I got stuck in certain rooms for puzzles and things like that. And I would have to get in my car and drive to Walden Books and then go find the strategy guide section and real quick flip to where it was that I was stuck, and then drive home after I got the knowledge how to get unstuck and do it. This second time through, even though it was 24 years later, it wasn't as tough. I guess maybe some of that knowledge was still rattling around my brain. But there was a couple times where I got stuck and took a little quick peek at a YouTube playthrough video to kind of figure out what I was doing wrong. But overall, I guess the real question is, does Tomb Raider on PlayStation 1 still hold up? 25 years after it came out, does it still hold up? Is it 25 years? Let me see, 96, 2020. Now, you know what? We don't do math on the show. Anyways, does it still hold up? And I say, you know what? It does. It's still a lot of fun. There was a couple of frustrating things about it, but I mean, as far as like atmosphere, the puzzles, the challenge, the wild creativity of it, like you kind of have to put yourself back in the mindset of 96 when this came out. There was nothing like this with its 3D environments, its menagerie of villains. Well, not necessarily villains. You have to fight a lot of like wolves and bears and bats and snakes. No, wait, no snakes. Crocodiles. There's crocodiles. Anyway, there's a whole lot of that. And then there are some human villains you have to fight. And just insanely creative, especially if you remember what gaming was like. This is 96. A lot of people say Majora's Mask, not Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time or Super Mario 64 is where, 3D gaming really came alive. I would argue that the original Tomb Raider really showed us what we could do with 3D gaming, and it's really polished and really done well. As I understand it, this was developed by Core. Core was a team of just 6 programmers that made this thing. So, I mean, that's super impressive. But let's do some of the highlights real quick. The atmospheres, the villains, the puzzles, the music. The music in Tomb Raider by Nathan McCree is some of the best music in video games. I adore it. In fact, when he did his Kickstarter not too long ago to remaster it all with a symphonic orchestra and all that stuff, I totally backed it. And I've got my autographed CD from Nathan. I mean, the music in Tomb Raider is just amazing. Definitely some of my very, very, very favorite video game music ever. So it matches the atmospheres so well. And one of the things the game does really well is it uses it sparingly. Like there's not a lot of in-game music because you're supposed to feel alone, in the tomb trying to solve the puzzle, and it gives you that solitude feel. But like when there's key moments of either action or of a discovery, that beautiful Nathan McCree music just comes right in, and it's great. What are the downsides of playing this 96? They didn't have the controls quite down yet because they weren't using analog controls. They were still using the old school original controller for the PlayStation 1, which hadn't added the analog sticks yet. So they are the classic PlayStation tank controls. After a couple 3 levels, I started just getting used to it again. It was annoying at first. I was like, wow, these controls are so clunky when I first, did the second playthrough. But after that couple levels, not a problem. Although, still every once in a while, you would take an unnecessary death just due to clunky controls, or they're a little bit slow to respond to. Like just that half a second between you when you press jump and she actually jumps, sometimes is the difference between life and death. So I would say the controls is a big drawback. And then I'd say one of the biggest frustrations, even though I was able to power through it just today, was the very last level, especially after you destroy, spoiler alert from 25-year-old game, after you destroy the Scion and the temple starts to rumbling and it becomes more about escape. Man, they just throw everything but the kitchen sink at you as you're trying to escape, and it's nothing but like trial and error gaming at that point. Like okay, I made it this point, now I got to go over here, and then a boulder crushed me. Okay, now I know there's a boulder waiting to get me around that corner. Okay, now I got past the boulder, and there's a spike pit that I didn't see coming. So now I learned about the spike pit. Okay, I got past the boulder in the spike pit. Now there's some lava that comes. It's just like it's one thing after another that it's really trial and error gaming. Like you learn one more step each time you die, you go back, and it's frustrating. Not the best game design there at the end, but I mean that's a nitpick between the controls and the game design at the end. Nitpicks. Overall, was it worth going back? Absolutely. I'm glad I did. If you played it back in the day, you might want to dust it off and give it a shot. Or if you've never played the original Tomb Raider before, maybe give it a try. Could be a little tough to go back at first, but I think you'll get the hang of the controls. And next thing you know, you'll be raiding tombs. Lara Croft, first lady of gaming. I love this game from the moment I first played it. Like I said, I started in 97. I've beaten every Tomb Raider game since then. Big fan of the franchise. Looking forward to playing all the way through. So hopefully you'll be getting an I finished it for Tomb Raider 2 in the not too distant future. So I'm Jared Albrecht, the Yard Sale Artist, thanking you once again for being Crusaders Club members. Tomb Raider was fun. I'd do it again. All right, with that, I'm going to act frozen. We'll catch you guys around the network. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Froze.